So it just goes to show you always bet on red. Welcome back to Detail Garage. This is our brand new shop car. We just won it in Las Vegas, leaving SEMA. Viva Las Vegas! Now you can see we drove it back through the Las Vegas desert. Alex went off-road there for a little while, so. Viva Las Vegas! Car has, a lot of dirt, a lot of dust on it, and even before that, but before all the water spots and water spot etching, the prior owner of the car, he didn't really take good care of it. It's full of swirls, full of scratches, the wheels are extremely filthy, the car's in pretty bad shape. Yeah, we figured since we were going to drive it back down here, might as well drive it down hard to see what kind of damage we could cause. So. Yeah, absolutely. So we need to do a full detail on this car to really restore the this hand-built British Aston Martin back to its original glory. So what are we going to do today, Alex? Well, today we're going to give it a nice foam bath. We're using the citrus wash and gloss. We figured since citrus wash and gloss has stripping capabilities, we need to strip this car completely down, take off all the dirt and contamination, any possible sealants that could be under there as well. Absolutely, yeah. Like this layer of dirt and dust is extremely thick, and we need a little extra cut with the soap to really pull all this off without going too aggressive, having to rub and scrub with a wash mitt or wash pad or anything like that. And I mean, even underneath the dirt, like we did a little test spot in back where we took off some of the dirt, the paint's feeling extremely rough underneath. How are we going to make it feel smooth as glass again? So to make it feel as smooth as glass, we're going to be using a medium grit clay bar. Seems to pull out a lot of the contamination that's on there. Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to do that on the paintwork, on the glass, all the clear plastic, and any polished metal we have around the vehicle. And then to take care of all the swirls and scratches, I mean, like we want this black paint to really shine, look extremely deep, look extremely wet. We don't want any swirls or any ugly spiderweb marks. So how are we going to take care of those? Well, Aston Martin has always had traditionally a softer clear coat than most other European cars, so we're going to be using our VSS. It's all the scratch and swirl remover that we need, especially from this car. So we should have a 90% paint correction on this paint using scratch and swirl remover. Very cool, very cool. And we're going to do that with a dual action polisher, just so that it's a lot more gentle, so we don't really have to worry about burning through any paint on any of the harder edges or these dramatic curves around the vehicle. So now me and Alex are going to take this car outside, we're going to foam it up, bring it back in, decontaminate it, and polish it up. Let's go do it. Let's go. So what do you think, Matt? I didn't expect this paint job to be black metallic. I just thought it was black. Yeah, so underneath all the dirt, we see there's metallic fleck in the paint. But we removed all the dirt, we washed the car, and all the dirt and filth from the outside is gone. But you can hear through the microphone, that doesn't sound very smooth. And the car feels pretty rough, fairly tacky all over all the surfaces. Even the glass, even the plastic, the wheels kind of feel rough too. So how are we gonna make it feel smooth as glass again? Clay bar. Cool. So going with medium here because medium seems to get all the nasty imperfections off this paint. And it sounds like sandpaper now, but in a few moments it won't sound like that. Absolutely. So what all that sound is when you rub on the surface, all that is pollution, contamination, industrial fallout, things like brake dust and rail dust that land on the paint and it sticks inside the pores of the paint and directly on the surface. So when you wax your car, it's not just to make the car like look shiny or to make it feel smooth, it's to actually block out all these things from sticking on your paint. So to use a clay bar, you need a little bit of a lubricant. You can use a quick detail spray. We're gonna use LUBER from Chemical Guys. This is made just for the detailing clay bar service. Take the clay bar and you scrub it across the surface. So this is a lot like that, like the pore strip that you put on your face, pulls all the blackheads out from your skin. This is what the clay bar is doing on your paint. So you need a lot of lubricant. You just scrub.
Yeah, and I already have a lot of contamination. Check that out.
Oh yeah. So as you scrub, we're actually pulling all that stuff out from the surface and it gets stuck in the clay bar. Now that we've pulled off any remaining wax or sealant with the clay bar, we can see the true extent of the damage on this paint, and it is really not looking good at all.
Yeah, the paint looks really cloudy, and this is just me from wiping off the LUBER. And later on we'll bring a camera so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about, but this paint is marred. There's a lot of scratches and swirls.
So looks like we're gonna need to set aside a lot of time. We're gonna need to decontaminate the whole vehicle. We need to do all the paintwork. We need to do all the glass around the car. We're gonna even do some of the clear bits, like the headlights, the tail lights, side indicators, any other pieces that are painted, shiny, or clear around the car. We're not gonna bother with things like the wheels, with the rubber on the tires, or any plastic trim that we have, such as around the mirror here, or anything around the windshield. Those things you can't really use a clay bar on, but anything painted, shiny, or clear, you can. So we're gonna go ahead and decontaminate all this paintwork, make it feel smooth as glass, and we'll move on to the next step. We're gonna take care of all these swirls and scratches with a machine polisher. Now we're moving on with the next part about the detail. And what we want to do is remove all these swirls and scratches. We need to do some machine polishing. Now, so you know, machine polishing is the one part about detailing that's actually going to repair paintwork. Anything else you do in detailing, like washing the car properly, using a wax or sealant, is designed to maintain the current condition of your paintwork. But once you get any swirls or scratches or water spots, anything like that, the only way to repair them permanently and fix them is machine polishing. So when we polish using a machine, a pad, and some kind of compound, we're basically sanding away a very fine layer of paint. So you can think about a polish like liquid sandpaper. We're dealing with abrasives on the order of like 10,000 grit, and that's much finer than anything we can currently mount on paper, so we put it in a liquid instead. So when we work it with a machine, we're refining the surface by removing very fine layers of paint, cutting beneath where all the scratches are to reveal totally flat, reflective paint underneath. So today, Alex and I are working with the Torque 10FX dual action polisher and the orange Quantum Hex Logic buffing pad. Now, this buffing pad is vented, has a special profile to increase efficiency when you're pushing down on the machine, pushing down on the pad. It helps to vent the pad, keep the pad cool, and we'll get better results along the way with less wear and tear. So to get started, I'm gonna get the VSS Scratch and Swirl Remover. This is a great one-step polish that's gonna cut hard like a compound, then refine like a fine polish. So we cut away the swirls and scratches, then refine pure reflection with the second part of the process. Now I'm just gonna take the polish and put 5 to 6 dots about that big over the whole buffing pad. So if you're ever wondering how much polish you need to use, that's the size of the dot that you should use on your buffing pad. So I got 5 dots there. I'm also just going to take a quick spray of the polishing pad conditioner. This is just to help spread out all the polish and prime the pad so I have less dry friction across the paintwork. So now my pad is primed up. We're ready to go and start polishing a spot on the hood. You can see I'm flipping the cord over my shoulder just so I don't bang, the car with the cord and cause any extra scratches. Now Alex and I are going to work in a 2x2 area first. It doesn't make sense to try to polish the whole hood at once. These polishes have a certain work time, and the abrasives need to actually be worked into the paint and broken down at a certain rate. So if you go in a 2x2 smaller area, you'll actually get better results more quickly than if you try to do a whole panel at once. Now the amount of pressure you push down on the machine makes a big difference. So when I turn the machine on, I'm going to turn it up to speed setting 4, which is, well, 4 on the dial on the torque machine, which is speed setting 6 on the machine. And I'm just going to put no pressure on so you can see how fast these lines are spinning and you can hear how the machine sounds. So that's how it sounds and looks with no pressure on the machine. Now I'm going to put the right amount of pressure that you need to push down on the machine to get the best results. So then you'll hear the difference and you'll see the difference. You'll be able to see these lines, but they're not going to be stopped. So I'm going to turn it on, speed setting 6. I'm going to push down with the right amount of pressure. That's no pressure. That's all you need. So that little bit of pressure with the torque machine, because of the way the machine is shaped, it's very ergonomic, this gives you a lot of leverage. So you don't need to press down really hard like you had to with some older machine designs.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing to keep in mind is also the movement in which you're moving the polishing machine across the vehicle or in the area you're working with, for example. So usually when you want to spread out the material, you usually dab it on just like Matt did. And once you dab it out into a certain area, you want to turn it to the lowest speed setting. You want to spread it out, and once you spread it out nice and evenly, then that's when you can go ahead and turn up the machine to start polishing using the method Matt explained earlier.
Check this out.
So you can see we're moving on with the hood. The hood is almost done, and then we're going to do the rest of the front end of the vehicle, then the rest of the car. So a few things that you need to notice as we were polishing was the way we were moving, the speed we were moving, and then how long we were working the polish. So as you saw, once we started, after we had our little area prepped and we spread out the polish, we worked in a grid pattern. So we worked first up and down, right? And then left to right over the area to get an even paint removal. Sort of like when you're mowing a lawn, you want to go in a grid. First, north, south, east, west. Doesn't really matter which way you go as long as you go in some kind of a grid. The other thing we did was as we worked down in the grid pattern, we overlapped the previous line 50-50. That way, again, that's just to ensure more even paint removal. You'll notice if you press down too hard or if you don't follow those simple steps, you might get what we call stripes in the paint. Sort of looks like a tiger stripe. So to avoid getting those types of marks, you need to ensure that you're getting even paint removal. The other thing is you see how thick and how white, how blue this polish looks because we just spread it out. You want to work it until it starts to turn clear. Once it's turned clear, that means the braces have broken down and it's done its job. And the last thing was how quickly we were moving side to side. Back in the day, you watch old videos of people polishing, they're moving the machines like this over the car, because they're using like old rotary machines that are spinning at like 10,000 RPMs. The paint technology has changed, the machines have changed, so the methods have to change as well. So the side-to-side speed that we do, the arm speed at which we let the machine work on the paint, it's about 1 inch per second. That's how long you want to let the dual action machine actually work in any given spot as you move across the paintwork. So I'm going to go ahead, do the middle of the hood. Alex is going to get started on that fender, and we're going to get the rest of this car done and looking great. You can see it's already starting to look a lot better right now, so we're going to get the rest of the car looking brand new as well.
Check this out.
So one of the things that you run into in polishing is unexpected circumstances. In this case, we were using VSS, and when, you know what, it was working. It had just the right amount of cut we were looking for, but it didn't finish off very well. We actually started getting a little bit of tiger striping. Tiger striping is once you start seeing little ghost images, and that's because this paint is very, very soft, so it won't finish off the way we want it to. So we had to switch to something least abrasive. So we switched to V36, and we switched to a white pad. White is a nice polishing pad, and V36 has just the right amount of cut, just so we can get the scratches and swirls off, and we get that nice final polish.
Exactly, yeah. And the softer foam feel from the white pad is, it refines much softer than the orange pad. So the orange pad is good for cutting, but on a softer paint finish like this, it just wasn't soft enough to refine the finish with a showroom shine. The white pad is soft enough to get those results. Plus, because it's a softer finish, we don't need to be as aggressive with a cutting pad. So the white pad in V36 is fitting the bill just right.
3, 2, 1, go!
So we're coming along our detail. The polish came out amazing. A lot of the scratches and swirls are gone, but I want to bring out more shine and more depth out of the paint. So I'm going to do that using blacklight. Now, blacklight is a special glaze formulated for darker colored cars, which allows it to fill in a lot of scratches and swirls that are left behind, and also it brings out a nice high shine. So we're going to be applying our blacklight using our blue Quantum Hex Logic pad. Now, this Hex Logic pad is perfect for applying the glaze, as you apply a nice thin amount, so you don't necessarily have to go over and buff off again. So you get just the right amount using this pad. So we apply blacklight on the vehicle. We're going to allow 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to buff off to see how great the results look. So I buffed off the blacklight, and the car looked sick. The blacklight revealed a beautiful wet look, and that's exactly what we're going for. So the next logical thing we want is we want to protect it using JETSEAL. JETSEAL will give it up to a 12-month protection. It's going to protect it from any harsh elements. And also, it will give it a nice, deeper, wet look, and it's going to encapsulate this beautiful car. So I chose a red Quantum pad because this pad is perfect for spreading out sealant without damaging the finish that we already got. So it's been about 15 to 20 minutes. It's time to buff off the JETSEAL and see what kind of great, amazing results lies underneath.
But if you close your eyes,
Go back to Vegas.
Here we go.